Today we are most fortunate to have presence of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki! Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki! So as we are going to begin our auspicious effort for this new Bhakti and Vedic Cultural Center, we have this wonderful auspicious lotus footsteps of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj on this holy land. And we are most blessed, Maharaj. So with your kind permission, we would like to have a very short introduction.
About
Many
me.
of them. Very short, Maharaj.
I just tell them my name's Indradyumna Swami. That's
Can I? Can I? Yes. So, as Indradyumna Swami Maharaj is, he is most famous in all three worlds. Nevertheless, some of our devotees, they are, getting this association for the first time. So we thought of, sharing few droplets of his introduction, illustrious spiritual career. So His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj is a dedicated senior disciple of His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of His International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Maharaj, this is 55 years back. In 1970, he got introduced to Krishna consciousness, received his initiation from His Divine Grace in 1971, and he accepted sannyas order in 1979. So we can only count our blessings of having such wonderful senior Vaishnava amongst us. Two direct instructions received by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. First, preach boldly. And second, have faith in the holy names. So these are the two personal instructions received by His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And no wonder, for last so many years, almost 5 decades, Maharaj has been traveling all across the globe. Especially he pioneered the preaching in European countries like France, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, South Africa. And he has circumambulated almost 36 times of entire globe. Haribol! His yatras in North America and Australia have been very, very successful festival programs. Especially those of us who have witnessed his most amazing, mind-blowing performances by his disciples from Poland. How many of you have had a chance? Very few. At least I have, yes. So they are meant by such precise, wonderful, innovative approach and very professional. They perform dance, drama, music, puppet shows. And every day, it goes almost for 2 months, every day they feed Nectarian Krishna Katha by Maharaj, along with such performances, to 5,000 devotees, along with Krishna Prasadam. Hari Bol. His Sadhu Sangha Kirtan, earlier, last year, we were fortunate to be part of it. This is one of the biggest congregation in North America, especially in America, where 4,000 devotees attend this Sadhu Sangha for 3 days. Only Hari Kirtan, Hari Katha and Krishna Prasad. So Maharaj's wonderful, congregation there and his disciples organized this wonderful festival in United States of America. Also, Maharaj, although, appeared in this mortal world in California, US, but his heart and home is Sri Vrindavan Dham. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki! So his Kartik Parikramas, where when more than 1,000 devotees attend, it's in October-November time frame. Every year in Sri Vrindavan Dham for entire month, this is the 13th year which is going to come up. His love for Vrindavan is distributed amongst all the devotees. He also organizes 6-week-long Rishikesh Kirtan Fest, where so many thousands of devotees, sadhakas, they yoga practitioners, they participate in Bhakti Yoga. And this February, it will be 5th year of such festivals where all these rishis come to, Rishikesh. Also, very few might be knowing, despite of such busy schedule and traveling schedule of Maharaj, Indradyumna Swami Maharaj also spends hours and hours in elaborate deity worship. And his worship of deities is very, very intense. And he has been instrument in restoring many, many deities of whose worship in several ancient deities whom he discovered during his travels and festivals. So such a wonderful mood. And Indradyumna Maharaj also generously shares his realizations, which we are going to today witness, some of the droplets. I have met at least 1 dozen devotees who have said, just because I read for the first time this Diary of Traveling Monk, this is a world famous book series, such amazing adventurous, Krishna consciousness experiences and realizations. His book series is well loved for his extensive photography and Facebook post. More than 1 lakh followers, follow Maharaj on those book series. 5 years ago, he also expanded his preaching by doing online preaching every week, YouTube lecture series on Vrindavan Dham. More than 735 lectures on Vrindavan Dham have been given. Haribo! Now, to our good fortune, all these wonderful nectar, all these lectures on his realizations in Vrindavan Dham is also available in the form of books. Like last year, Maharaj was, we were fortunate to have Maharaj on a couple of occasions here. The Traveling Monk in Sacred Places was the book. And now the fourth book in this series, called very, very special book, which Maharaj, I'm sure, will request him to speak about, is Sri Radha and her 8 companions, Ashtasakis, Krishna and Ashtasakis. So with this latest installment, he offers glimpses of Sri Radharani and her companions and spreads sweetness of Rajadham. So here, on this auspicious occasion, Maharaji, we are about to begin our quest for developing this land into wonderful Krishna temple. Bhakti and Vedic Cultural Center is the name. And for a few years, we'll be operating this as a personal land. And then when it gets donated to ISKCON, it will be a full-fledged ISKCON temple. So we are very, very fortunate, Maharaj, to have you on this eve when we are about to begin our quest as a blessing, sacred blessing. And on behalf of His Grace Madan Sundar Prabhuji, who unfortunately, because of his health reason, could not be here, and this wonderful community of congregation and youth, community members, we extend our warm, warm welcome to His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj and also his illustrious disciples, who are present here to bless us with wonderful Krishna Katha. So let us express our gratitude from our heart of heart to His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj with loud chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Param Pujya Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Itai Gaur Premanande. We request you.
I like the temple like this. It's very open and very bright and lots of fresh air. Anyway, we need big temples. So thank you for the introduction. I think he exaggerated a lot, but I'll try to live up to those words. Do you like to dance? Okay, get ready. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gora. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srinam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh. Kirtan. Hola Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hola Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Haribo! Hare Krishna. Hey, Drew. Drew. Dance. Dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Go pray. Go Drew. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, oh, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go Drew. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, oh, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga, Hola Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga, Hola Nitai Gauranga Jai, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hari, Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hari, Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hari, Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hari. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama. Go, 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 go.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Go, Drew. Hey.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare. Go, Drew.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Dance, 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 dance.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Wow,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram. Hey, Drew.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Woo! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Dance, 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 dance. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hey, Drew, go. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Go, Drew! Yeah! Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Woo! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Go, Drew! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Dance, 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 dance. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Drew! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Dance, 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 dance. Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hey! Wow, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hey! Nittai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Go! Go! Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Gaur Hari Bo. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi, Sheshdai Gaur Premanandi, Gaur Premanandi, Gaur Premanandi. Jai Jai Sri Radhe, Jai Jai Sri Radhe, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Shanti. Kirtan forever. Let's give a big round of applause for our drummer. He kept the beat. And little Dhruv, where's Dhruv? Dhruv, bring him on the stage. Dhruv, you got to teach all these people how to dance. They don't know what they're doing. You know, you're dancing like crazy. Turn it around. Turn it around. Give him a big round of applause. What a dancer Dhruv is. Dhruv, do you want to give the lecture? Huh? That comes later. Okay. Okay, Dhruv, you can go down now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to read from 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 8. I've actually spoken on it quite a lot this trip, but it remains ever fresh. That which is transcendental beyond the 3 modes of material nature is never subject to deterioration. Papa said in this world someone comes into being, they exist for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and they die. All things come to pass. But this Krishna conscious movement is teaching something eternal. especially Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the oldest of the old. If there's anyone who's old, it's Krishna. It's described originally there was one Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for enjoyment, he expanded his Ladini Shakti as Srimati Radharani. When we think of enjoying, we don't just think of sitting in our room alone. Enjoyment means enjoying with others. We call our brother or sister, or call our friends on the phone, or go to a function. Loneliness is actually the most miserable condition in this world. So to enjoy, we need others. So although originally Krishna was one, he expanded. And his first expansion is his consort, Srimati Radharani. When we speak about God, we don't think of an old man sitting in a chair on the way to heaven, like with all due respect, our Christian brothers and sisters. But without a poor fund of knowledge, one speculates about spiritual things and comes to the wrong conclusion. We need authority as it comes down from He who is the source of all that is material and all that is spiritual. Ham sarvasya pavavo matta sarvam pavartate. So our Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, he's the oldest of the old. But he's not an old man because that's just one of the conditions of material existence. We fall under the control of the material energy. We take birth, we get disease, COVID, we grow old and we die. These are laws of the material nature, but Krishna's beyond these laws because he lives in the spiritual world where life's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. This material world is just a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. A reflection, okay, it's something of the substance. You know, when let's say on a full moon night, it's very quiet, the forest quiet, peaceful, all the birds are sleeping, all the animals are sleeping, there's no wind, and you look into the lake and you see the reflection of the moon in the lake. It looks very real. It really, I've seen, it's actually quite beautiful, the reflection. But as beautiful as it is, it's a reflection. And the reflection of something is not as significant as the original object. So this world that we live in, it has some of the substance of the spiritual world. There's people, there's houses, there's rivers, there's mountains. But it's a reflection. And the real world is the spiritual world. Chintamani pakara saramasu kalpaviksha lakshar vitesha shurabir abhibalyandam. It's described. The ground is Chintamani. It's touchstone. The birds in the spiritual world, they don't go pretty good, Drew, right? I can speak to birds. No, they sing the glories of Radha and Krishna. The birds are all enlightened souls, pure devotees of the Lord, who have that constitutional position because variety is the spice of life. So the spiritual world is full of variety. So there's birds, fully conscious, pure devotees, always chirping, singing the glories of Radha and Krishna. There's the river Jamuna, there's Giriraj Govardhan, and there's all loving relationships with Krishna. Everyone's focused on Krishna. The devotees in the spiritual world, they love Krishna more than anyone's ever been loved before. And Krishna loves his devotees more than anyone's ever been loved before. So that's the real world, not this reflection. Just a reflection of that world. This we hear from our acharyas. Yasha Devi para bhaktir yata Devi tata guru. one who has full faith in the instructions of Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, and the Vedic scriptures, eventually the whole import of transcendental knowledge, the spiritual world, is revealed. So we have our Krishna, and he's very, very old, but he remains very beautiful. He never ages beyond 16. There's this. I probably shouldn't quote anything in this world, but there was a song when I was young. Sweet 16, you're beautiful and you're mine. Sweet 16, you're beautiful and you're mine. That's kind of the peak of beauty, right? Actually, we grow until 27. I was learning in I forgot what class it was in high school. Biology. That we grow and grow till we're 27, and from 27 your body starts to deteriorate. You're growing, and then you start to deteriorate, not at 50 or 60, but actually your body begins to deteriorate at 27. That's when girls get really nervous about if they're going to get married. We're not the body, so don't worry. But Krishna, he doesn't even get to be 27. He's always 16. And for some of his devotees, he remains Gopal, a cute cowherd boy. This is the mystery of Vrindavan. Like in the Pushti Marg, they're kind of like our cousins, the Pushti Marg, Balabhacharya. They worship God in the form of a little boy, and they have the little Ladhu Gopals. And in the month of Damodar, we celebrate that. We sing the Damodar Ashtakam. It's so cute. Our God's a thief. Excuse me? Yes, he's a thief. He steals mukkan. And he eats a little bit of it, but then he distributes it to the monkeys. And all the gopis get really upset. He had to milk the cow, churn the cream, make the butter, and Krishna crawls into their house, somehow gets into the rafters, breaks the pots of butter, it falls on the ground, he eats some, then he gives it to the monkeys. He's a thief. Our God's a thief, and we love him for it because he's so cute. But he steals more than butter. He steals little girls' hearts. He's so cute. He steals the hearts of the elderly gopis by his antics, by his naughtiness. When he's a little older, he steals the hearts of the young girls of Braja. All transcendental, nothing mundane, all transcendental love. So that's our Krishna. You'll never see a picture. Krishna was on this planet 148 years. You'll never see a picture of him older than 16. And he knows that we left. In the spiritual world, there's unlimited spirit souls. Unlimited. They're unlimited. But a very few percent choose to leave that world and come to the material world. How is it possible? Well, the spiritual world, love reigns supreme in the spiritual world. Love reigns supreme. But love is not something forced upon you. The nature of love is that you choose to love or not love. When your husband, you chose to love your husband. You weren't forced. You chose to love your wife. You weren't forced. Love is a conscious choice. I love you. It means a lot to a girl when you say I love you, or to a boy I love you, because it's coming from the heart. So love means I have a choice. I can love or I cannot love. So everyone's in love with Krishna in the spiritual world, but because the principle love is a spontaneous, natural thing of the heart, it means there's the choice not to love, and for whatever reason it is, an individual soul has some independence. Krishna is supremely independent, so we're part and parcel. We have the qualities of Krishna, but very minutely, we misuse our independence in Bahirmukh. Jagadananda Pandit says, one great soul, Bahirmukh, Mukha means face, and bahira means to turn your face away from someone. I remember when I was young, my mommy would chastise me. You know how it is? And I'd look away. Son, you look at me while I'm talking to you. You look at me. Mommy. Look at me. Yes, Mommy. So to turn your face away from someone when they're instructing you, it's offensive. So Bahiramukh, Jagannath Pandit says, we turn our face from God. We turn away from Him. He's like the sunshine. Krishna is sometimes compared to the beauty of the sun. So if you turn your back on the sun, what do you see? Darkness. You see your shadow. So we come to the shadow of the spiritual world. This is the shadow, the material world. We need electricity and, so forth to get light in the spiritual world. Krishna says in the Gita, there's no sunlight, moonlight, or electricity. It's self-effulgent. It's self-effulgent, the spiritual world. So we turn our back on Krishna and we see the darkness and somehow we're attracted. We start falling down. And Prabhupada says in one lecture, as we fell from the spiritual world, Krishna accompanied us. We left, but he accompanied us for some short distance. He said, my dear devotee, please don't leave. No, I'm leaving. Please don't leave. I'm leaving. Please. He was begging us, Prabhupada said. But we left. All right, go. How could he do that? Why did he just force us back? Because love has to be from your heart. It has to be your choice, spontaneous. But how could he let us come to this nasty world if he loves us? Well, it's just like a mother. The baby's, not the baby, the child's two, ladies, terrible twos. The boys are so naughty, girls are so naughty, terrible twos. And there's the bright candle burning. And the 2-year-old thinks, ooh, that looks so nice, I want to touch. At 1 or 6 months, they're putting everything in their mouth. I'm a sannyasi, but I know these things. Their babies, they put everything in their mouth. So the whole time, mother, don't put that in my mouth, don't put it, they take it out of their mouth. And by the time they're 2, they're walking, or maybe some of them are still crawling, I don't know. So danger. So the mother says, don't touch the candle. Yes, Mommy, I want. No, don't. Yes, don't. Yes. Okay, touch. And they get a little burn. Once burned, twice shy. So this whole material world is considered to be like a prison house. A penitentiary, we say in English. But penitentiaries, prisons, really, they're meant to rectify the prisoner. In a civilized country, a prison is not just to torture someone. There's demoniac people in this world, so they use prisons to torture people. They love it. But a real prison means that someone comes, they get rectified, and they come out a good citizen again, isn't it? A prison. The state is giving you 4 or 6 years in the prison with the idea that it will reform you. And you'll come back out because it's expensive prisons. The government has to maintain you. You're not working. They have to clothe you. They have to feed you. They have to house you. They have to cure you if you get sick. Prisoners cost a lot of money to the taxpayers. So the government doesn't want people, but it's necessary. So they go in, and the idea is you come back out a model citizen. It happens all the time. Prisoners come in, they're bad guys, but have a change of heart. Then in prison they study law. They get a law degree. I had one friend actually, he's a really bad guy. He was he drove a car DUI under the influence of intoxication. He drove his car, and he killed somebody. They call it manslaughter. He was drunk, and he didn't do it on purpose, but he got something like, I don't know, it was 9 years in prison. But while he was there, he studied law, and he got a law degree, and he got out, and he became a lawyer. So the whole purpose of material existence, as bad as it is, and it's bad, don't be under an illusion. There's smiling babies, there's sunrises, sunsets, there's beautiful scenes of nature, there's good food sometimes, there's a good movie, Avatar 3. Who's laughing? There's some attractive things. But as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, the whole show is temporary. The whole show is temporary. So there's a saying in Bengal that material happiness is like a horse egg in the sky. Swami, horses don't lay eggs, and eggs don't exist in the sky. Yes, that's my point. Horse egg in the sky. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as real happiness in this world. Or if there is, it's like water off a duck's back. The water, and the ducks, they have this, it's really mystical. One time Prabhupada said this whole material nature is mystical in many ways. The water, and it just slides off the duck's back into the water. He has feathers, he's got a body, but he doesn't need an umbrella. By nature's way, he's protected. He floats in the water. So material happiness is like that. And Prabhupada said, he was very strong, because sadhu means one who speaks to break our attachments. It pinches a little bit sometimes when a sadhu speaks. Ouch! Give up your nonsense. Ouch! He said, happiness in this world is actually just a momentary moment of freedom from pain. Just like if I'm beating you on the head, boom, oh, and I stop. Oh, now I'm happy. Excuse me? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I'm happy. Happiness is a relief of pain. So this is a world of duality. Up and down, black and white, boy and girl, yes and no, happiness and distress. But the happiness is just the relief from the suffering. There was a survey done in America and in Europe and Australasia, and it found that people are in anxiety 90% of the time. They're in complete distress 5% of the time, and they're happy 5% of the time. That's 100, right? 95, 5. Yeah, it's still the same. We have these senior moments after 70. Well, the math, 2 plus 2 is 5. No, it's 4. So that's what life is. There's more ways that your hand can suffer than your hand can enjoy. Think of it like that. Intelligence means to see things in the proper perspective. So, how does the hand enjoy? Take the prasad. The hand can do that. One of the greatest pleasures in life, anamoya, is just eating. We eat 3 times a day, and we snack in between. And we get fat and we don't care. And eating, so the hand. Otherwise you'd have to eat like a horse. Or a cow. That's what our hands are for, mainly. So that gives pleasure. Feed, the tongue is saying, feed me. But how many ways can the hand suffer? Mommy, it's too hot. Mommy, my hand's cold. Mommy, I have a blister. Mommy, I have a splinter under my fingernail. Mommy, there's so many ways This is hard talk. In my country, they have a television serial, or I think it's a news program. I don't know what it is. Hard talk. Two people get together. They talk about the hard facts of life and how to solve them. So this is hard talk. So it's a reflection. The reflection can never equate to the original object. So there is a spiritual world. And that's where we came from, and that's where we're meant to go. We're meant to go. Prabhupada called his magazine, we get used to it, right? We heard the term, but think about it. Back Home, Back to Godhead. That's an interesting title for a magazine. Nowadays we come up with titles for our YouTube channels or the books or something. Imagine, Back Home, Back to Godhead. Like, what? Back home means back, from where you came from. Back home, back to Godhead. So we ran away from home like naughty teenagers. I sometimes tell the story. One time I had an argument with my father, one of those heated arguments. I said, "Dad, I'm leaving this place." He said, "There's the front door, son. There's the front door. Go ahead." "Yeah, I'm out of here." It's all yours. Packed my bags. I got to the door to go outside, and I realized I didn't have any money. So I said, "Dad, I don't like you." He said, "Yeah, I understand you're young, but Dad, I need $100. So he went into his wife, gave me $100. I said, "I'm never coming back." "We'll see." And I left. I was determined. Bahir Mukha. I turned my face on my father, my provider, and my loving mother. And I'm not coming. I just walked. I was like 14 or something, And it was cold outside. And I didn't have enough money to rent a hotel or something like that. So oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock at night. And so I just laid under a tree. And it started to rain. And I got all wet. So I went to the laundromat and I changed the money and dried my jacket and my sweater. That some of my money was gone. The next morning I was really hungry, so I went to the donut shop. Prabhupada called it the do not shop. When they were at 26th 2nd Avenue, the devotees just joined the temple, right? The new Prabhupada's first preaching center. After the morning program, the devotees would go out and go to the donut shop, smoke a cigarette, and buy donuts that weren't offered to Krishna. So on a morning walk, Prabhupada knew what was going on. So he walked past and he looked at the shop. He said, "What's that called?" They said, "A donut shop, Prabhupada." He said, "No, it's a do not shop." It's a do not shop. So do not. So do not leave the spiritual world. It doesn't make sense. It's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. And this world is temporary, full of ignorance and suffering. What's that saying? Do the math? You do the math. But we came here. And Krishna tried to stop us. My dad tried to stop me. I think probably $25 I spent on donuts. Then I bought another $10 on Coca-Cola. And by lunchtime I was really hungry, so I had a pizza. By the next day I had no money left. So, "Dad, you were right. Better I stay home." So, but I had my false ego. I didn't want my dad to, I was a teenager, rebellious. So I waited till 2 o'clock in the morning to go back to my house. And I snuck in through the garage, opened the door, walked up the steps. And I had to go through the living room because my room was at one end of the living room. Came out of the basement in the living room, and there was a little light on. I said, "That's why it's 2:00 in the morning. What's the light on? Like a little light next to a big chair." And I'm walking past the chair, and all of a sudden I heard, "Welcome home, son. We missed you." I started crying, "Dad!" And he took me to bed, and he made some hot milk for me and something. He said, "So how much money's left?" I said, "There's nothing left." So I suffered, but the suffering was productive. So Krishna lets us come here and suffer. Not because he's sadistic, because sometimes spare the rod, spoil the child. Krishna says to Yudhishthira in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, "My first mercy upon my very sincere devotee is I take everything away from that devotee, so he has no other resort than to take full shelter of me." Those are the times, the hardest lessons are the ones best learned. I'm a devotee of Krishna. Why is Krishna doing this to me? Because everything Krishna does is good for you. We may not see it. He's the big daddy in the sky. Don't quote me. Maharaj said God's the big daddy in the sky. That's not in the Rig Veda. But he knows what's best. He sees everyone as a devotee. One time someone said to Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, everyone loves you." And Prabhupada said, "That's because I love everyone." Because he's Krishna's representative. He's the ambassador from the spiritual world. The same mentality as Krishna. So everything Krishna does, we have to think like that. He knows what's best for us. We just want the good times. But you know you're more Krishna conscious in the hard times because your prayers come from the heart, like Kunti Devi. My dear Lord, let these calamities come again and again and again, because in these calamities I think of your lotus feet. And by thinking of your lotus feet, I no longer have to accept the repetition of birth and death. Krishna never gives a test to his devotee that he thinks that devotee cannot pass. Think of it like that. I had cancer 3 times. I had septicemia twice. I was hit by a car, and I flew all the way to that. But I learned so much, and now every day is like gold. In old age, you have to feel that, the opportunity is coming to go back home, back to Godhead. I want to say Hare Krishna when I die. So whatever lesson comes, it's okay. Everything Krishna does is good. Like one time, this is a true story actually. One time a king in, I think it was in Bengal. You can sit? Yeah. One time a king was getting ready to go on a hunt. And he was sharpening his arrows. Sharpening his arrows. So the arrow would be sharp. Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt to a certain degree because they have to maintain their skill for battle. Just like if you're a swimmer, you have to swim a lot. You have to practice in the pool. You have to practice to be a good swimmer. So the Kshatriyas, they have to protect us from the bad guys, so sometimes there's battles. So this king, he was sharpening his arrows. They hunt wild animals, keep down the tigers and the lions, but the sadhus can live peacefully in the forest. They're allowed to do that. So he's sharpening his arrows. Go! He cut his thumb off. It's a true story. So Brahmins and Kshatriyas, the thumb is very important. For Brahmins, they have to chant the sacred Gayatri. And for Kshatriyas, they need to pull back the arrow like this. So the thumb's very important part of the body for the Kshatriyas and for the Brahmanas. He lost his thumb. And he was, he's so upset. And his minister, chief minister, came and said, "Don't worry, our dear king. Whatever Krishna does is good." "You mean you think it's good I lost?" "I'm just saying, whatever, Krishna, nothing can happen without the will of the Lord. Not a blade of grass moves without the will of God. So think of it like that. Krishna's done something good for you." "What? You rascal! Prison!" He threw his minister in prison. "Everything Krishna does is good. You think it's good I lost my thumb?" And from the cell, "Yes, Your Highness, it's good." He was very Krishna conscious, the minister. Anyway, the king, he's Kshatriyas, they can tolerate pain. Brahmanas can't tolerate pain. There's two things Brahmins can't tolerate. A place where there's no water, because Brahmanas, svaha, svaha, om, they need water for purification, for bathing the deity, bathing themselves. And the other thing is they can't stand pain, because they're in the mode of goodness. It's more refined than the mode of ignorance and passion, where you can tell them, "I'm tough." But Brahmins are very sensitive to the material energy. They want out of here. So they're always preaching. So they can't tolerate pain. But a Brahmin can, a Kshatriya can. So, "I take that, I'm going to go hunt." So he went into the forest alone. And he has his bows and arrows, and he's, looking for some wild animal to kill. And deep in the forest there was a temple of Kali, the fierce Kali. I won't do it because the camera's at me, but they're sticking her tongue out, her eyes like this. So sometimes their followers, it's worship in the mode of ignorance, they offer sacrifices. They sacrifice animals to her, like really low. And sometimes in days of yore, they would offer human sacrifices to Kali. They would offer human sacrifices. So there were some Kali worshippers roaming around the jungle looking for a human being, maybe a skinny, scrawny sadhu, whatever, to sacrifice to goddess Kali. It's a true story. And they hadn't found anybody, and they came across the king. And they got him down, they tied him up. "This will be a good offering. The king, Kali, will bless us. All our material desires will be satisfied by Kali Ma." And they're taking him to the place of sacrifice, and they put him on the sacrificial altar, and suddenly one of the Kali worshippers said, wait a minute, we can't offer him to Kali. He's missing a thumb." They wanted everything to be perfect. He's got no thumb. Reject him. So they let him go. He got on his horse, and he ran back to his kingdom, and he's in his room. "Oh, I was saved." And then the minister called from the cell, which wasn't far away. "You see, our dear king, if you hadn't lost your thumb, if your thumb was still there, you would have been offered to the goddess Kali. But Krishna had some arrangement for you. So everything Krishna does is good, you see? You understand? It was good he lost his thumb. So whatever happens to devotees sees it as fortune, not misfortune. It's tough sometimes because we have this strong tendency to enjoy. But we have to curb that down, that fever for enjoyment. Vacha vegam, manasakroda vegam, jiva vegam, upushta vegam. How do you curb down the fever to enjoy the material world? You control your senses. you don't just hear mundane music, you hear bhajans. You don't, look at go out of your way to see beautiful things in this world, you see the deity. You smell the incense offered to the Lord. You taste the prasadam to the Lord. You touch the bodies of sadhus. To see a sadhu is the perfection of the eyes. To touch his body is the perfection of that. To hear him speak is the perfection of the ears. This is how we control our senses. Gradually. And we have, this is something to be admired, someone who's controlled their senses in the service of the Lord. This is how we gradually become Krishna conscious. And it's very easy in this movement to control the senses. Right? We have the best food. Rice, dal, chapatis, samosas, kichoris, rasmalai. In Bengal they have mishti dohi, jalebis, sandesh, gulab jamans, sweet and sour sabjis. We even have curd sabjis. There's no vegetables, it's just curd floating in a sauce. We call it curd sabji. Devotees love. We have the best association, each other. We have the best philosophy. We have the best places to go on vacation. Not Disneyland, or Byron Bay, Gold Coast, Australia. No, Braj, Ayodhya Dham. Jai Sri Ram! Jai Hind! Mayapur, Srirangam, Tirupati. This country is saturated with holy places. So we have the best life, and there's no excuse for not becoming purified and getting, getting distracted looking at the reflection. Once there was a wrestler in Srirangam, and he was the guard for Sri Ramanujacharya, who was the Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya. And he was very good friends with the chief Mahant of the temple. And he was a very paka person, he was a wrestler. Very famous wrestler, actually. It's a true story. And he was a good bodyguard, and for the Mahant of the temple. And one day a beautiful prostitute came to the temple, and as she walked by, he couldn't take his eyes off her. And every day she would walk by on her way to work, and she caught his attention. He was a righteous man, in the mode of goodness, pure. Somehow he got attracted, and the head Mahant said, "What? Every day you're looking at this woman going by. That's not our culture. You can't do that." He said, "Yes, but it's her eyes. The eyes are the light of the soul." You see, ladies, they put makeup on because they look more beautiful. The eyes are beautiful, but they're even more beautiful. Men, they comb their hair to be beautiful. We each have our weaknesses. So the maquillage, we say in French, the eyes. So he was attracted to her eyes. And one day, he walked away from his service at Srirangam temple and started following this prostitute around everywhere she went. He became the laughing stock of Srirangam. He was famous before, and he's like a little puppy dog, just following her around everywhere she went. Go away! You're so beautiful. And this man had been famous, prestigious. He just was watching her everywhere, following her around. His reputation was just lost. And the Mahant of the temple, he felt so sad. This aristocratic man had fallen into just So he came up one day and said to the wrestler, if I can show you something more beautiful than the eyes of the prostitute, will you stop following her around? It's not possible. He said, it's not possible. No, if I show you something more beautiful than her eyes, will you stop this? It's not possible. Look at her. He was captivated. So finally he said, all right, if you can show me something more beautiful than her eyes, I'll stop following her. So you know what the Mahant did? He brought that wrestler back to the temple for opening of the deities in the morning. Sri Rangam, you've been to Sri Rangam? The deity is almost as long as this wide as this tent. There's 3 darshans. You see his beautiful face, you see his torso, and you see Ranganath. Ranganath, you see his feet. And Lakshmi Devi is massaging his feet. I love that darshan. It takes like a half an hour. He's such a big deity. Ranganath. So the Mahant, the head priest, he took him to the temple and he took him for the first darshan. He said, behold the eyes of the Lord. Padmalochana. Look at the eyes of the Lord. Krishna is all attractive. Whatever beauty is in this world is only a reflection of the beauty of the Lord. So the wrestler came and he stared at Ranganath's eyes. You know, the eyes of the Lord are very beautiful. His eyes go almost to his ears. Have you seen? The deities, they paint the eyes like elongated eyes like this. Nose is like a beautiful sesame flower. The lips of the Lord are red like bimba fruit. His smile, ignamic smile, charms the 3 worlds. He has 3 lines on his neck. Turibanga Sundara. He's bent in 3 places. He has Vaijayanti garland. 5 types of flowers. They swing right to his ankles. And his lotus feet are very beautiful. And if you saw the bottom of his foot, there's auspicious signs on his foot. He smells like a guru, musk, and sandalwood, all mixed together. Everything about the Lord is enchanting, supremely beautiful. Krishna. He's the attractor of Cupid. So there he is. He's looking at the eyes and he goes, ha, what a fool I was. Jai Shri Ranganath. And he apologized to the lady, the prostitute. They had their positions in society in Vedic culture. It was nothing to speak about now, but everyone had their position in society. So he apologized to her. So like that, probably not the best example for us, but we're chasing after the illusory pleasure of this world. It's only a reflection. We have to see that from whom everything is coming. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, and he's so kind that he comes as Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha means what? It's the deity, yes? We want to install one day the Archa Vigraha. Vigraha means form, the form of the deity. We want to install, you have a plan, yes? One day you can install Radha Krishna, Gaurnitai, Sitaram Lakshmana, whatever. And Prabhupada's definition of the Archa Vigraha, the most merciful form of Krishna. How's that? He doesn't leave. Krishna comes, Paritarnaya sadhanam, vinashai taduskritam, dharma samstapanate, sambhavami. He comes. From time to time, he comes. But then he goes. He came just for one devotee, he's so kind. He came to rescue Prahlad Maharaj, a whole incarnation for one devotee. Who can say God's not merciful? Oh, God's so unkind, the whole suffering in the world. Yeah, he keeps coming to get you, but you don't get the message. Bahir Mukh, you still turn your face when he comes. You don't accept the dharma, Sanatana dharma he's offering to come home. He comes. Again, he comes once in a day of Brahma. So in Vedic culture, we take cosmic time as more important than our little puny time. The devatas are more elevated They're more aristocratic, they're divine, they have controlled senses, they're responsible for so many services in the service of the Lord. So time is taken according to the demigods, not our puny little time, our 4 seasons or 3 seasons like you have in India. Who cares about an ant's time? So the time is calculated by the time of the Devatas. So once in a day of Brahma he comes. That means in cosmic time, he comes every day, he knocks on your door. What? Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam saranam braja ham tam sarva pape moksimasaja. Just to surrender unto me. I'll protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Who's listening? No one's answering the door. Knock, knock. Who's there? Krishna's there. Open the door. Open the door to your heart and accept him in. He comes again and again and again and again. He comes to rescue us. And in this age, he comes in his most merciful form. I'm sure you'll have Gaurnitai deities too. But then he came, but he stays in the form of the... So Prabhupada said the deity is the most merciful form of the Lord because he stays in your temple, he never goes. And you can come every day and see him. And by seeing him and hearing about him and serving him, you'll fall in love with him very easily. Very easily. You should be hankering. You should have the strong desire to build this temple as fast as possible. So you can have that most merciful form of Krishna. You can come from Mangalarti, come for the opening of the deities, come after work and see the deity. Like in Jaipur. How many of you have seen Govindaji in Jaipur? So you know how many people come every day to see that. The whole town comes. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thousands of people. And after work they come again. Why? Because they love Govindaji more than anything else. Why didn't Govindaji go back to Vrindavan? He's a Vrindavan deity. Gopinath's a Vrindavan deity. Damodar's a Vrindavan deity. They were just meant to be there temporarily until Aurangzeb was dead and they could take him back to Braj peacefully. But they never left. Do you ever think why? Because Krishna is controlled by the love of his devotees. He can't leave. Like Damodar is tied by the love of his mother Yashoda. Govinda, Gopinath, Madan Mohan, he went to Karoli. But these deities, they stay because they're controlled. So you're going to have your deities. They're your, Krishna comes for you. This is our deity, our community's deity. You should be hankering for that mercy. And when they come, you have to come regularly to see them. Not just as a ritualistic. You want to come see your lover. Because when you stand in front of the deities, darshan doesn't mean that you're looking at Krishna. Krishna's also looking at you. And his glance is very powerful. Shiva says in the Radha Kripa Kataksha, I just want the glance of Sri Radha. Just the look. That glance is so merciful. So, in conclusion, we're in the wrong place at the wrong time doing the wrong thing. So let's get it together. When you build this temple, it'll be like heaven on earth. Yes, wherever Krishna is, there's Radha, there's Madhu Mangal, there's Raktak, there's Lalita, there's Vishaka, there's Govardhan Hill, there's Terkadamba. You have your own Gupta Vrindavan, your hidden Vrindavan. And you worship your deities like that. You don't have to go anywhere. You just stay here and become Krishna conscious. Fall in love with your deities. End of your life, go back home, leave this false reflection, go back to the spiritual world and serve them forever and ever and forevermore. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Oh, I have some books for you. They're all about Vrindavan. Like you can get ready for your hidden Vrindavan here. When COVID came, I was locked up in my room in Vrindavan, and I'm a traveler. Sannyasis can only stay in one place three days. And I've been traveling for 54 years. You can imagine I've been everywhere. I've seen everything. Prabhupada said that one time. I've been everywhere. I've seen everything in this world. I circled the world 12 times. So one devotee said, what's your advice, Prabhupada? He said, take sannyas. But not officially, but you can gradually get renounced. You can only give up something if you get something better. So we have Braj. And I studied Braj inside and out for the whole COVID for years and years. I gave many lectures on Vrindavan, my disciples, transcribed them and put them in books. This is one book, The Sacred Forest of Vrindavan on the western bank of the Jamuna. This is the Sacred Forest of Vrindavan on the eastern side of the Jamuna. If you need a Parikrama book, when you go to Vrindavan, I recommend my book. It's not my book, it's Krishna's abode. And every holy place is described in great detail. What was the pastime? Who participated? What was the weather? What were the bumblebees buzzing? What was the food? What was the humor? What was the, that's all, every holy place. You just take this and there's maps. You go to Braj. You need a guidebook, fully researched. All Shastric references are there. And then I also did one on Govardhan Hill. This one's in Hindi. Giriraj Govardhan Lalavam Sivali Ki Jai Ho! 100 pages about Govardhan Hill. Each lecture I prepared for 10 hours. And this year, this year the title is Shri Radha and the Astasakis. Vrindavaneshwari Shrimati Radharani Ki. She's Veda Gupya. It means she's hidden in the Vedas. That she wasn't mentioned because human society wasn't ready. Her bhav, her devotion for Krishna is so confidential, so special. But Mahaprabhu came and he broke open the storehouse of Braj Bhakti. He introduced us to Radharani. So all the quotes from Prabhupada's books, all the books of the Goswamis, I read them all, about Sri Radha and her friends. Radha lives in Vrindavan on top of a hill called Varshana. Varshana means a downpour of bliss. Not rain, a downpour of bliss. That's Varshana. She lives there, and all her 8 companions, Tungavidya, Chitra, Indulekha, her 8 girlfriends, they all have villages around Varshana. And I went to all the villages and studied Lalita, Vishaka, Tungavidya, everything. And then I spoke about them, and my disciples transcribed those lectures. So when you go to Mayapur, you see Radha Madhava, right? There's 4 girls on the left, 4 girls on the right. Who are they? Did we just look at them? Oh, they're pretty. No, who are they? Who are these servants of Krishna's dearmost companions, Sri Radha? They're all here. And for every Saki, of the 8 Sakis, there's beautiful illustrations. It's so nice. And everything's authentic. And there's also photographs about, this is one of the kunds of the Sakis, Chitra's kund, her lake. And it's a very nice printing. I'll show you another. Here's more photos. You can see the photos before you go. You can get used to it, so when you go there, your hair will stand on end. I read all about it, and I can't wait to get there. Many pastimes, illustrated so beautifully. So this book's very important. It's a confidential subject matter, but I presented it in a very authoritative way. It's very deep. We can only go so deep, but there's enough here to just fall in love with Sri Radha and her 8 companions. And if you can't go to Vrindavan because, well, you're busy, you have school, with these books, you have Vrindavan in your home. One day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the great pioneer of this movement, he said, one day I woke up and saw my house had been transformed into Vaikuntha. Why? Because Krishna was the center of his house, everything. He had 12 children. He and his wife. Everything was Krishna conscious. So these books, if you just keep them there and you read them, you'll always remember Krishna. There's enough substance here to always remember Krishna and never forget him. So it's a service I'm doing. And the books cost $2,000 each. But somebody said this temple couldn't afford that. So we made the price 2,000 rupees. Yeah, 2,000 rupees a book. It's an investment, and a businessman knows you make an investment, you want the most return. What more return could you get than the glories of Radhe Shyam? And if you buy one of these books or more, you get this. This is my diary. Well, actually, I've been keeping a diary for 50 years. And my disciples were printing those diaries each year. So there were 15 years, 15 books. And HarperCollins, that prestigious book, they approached me. We've seen your Facebook page. We go to your YouTube channel, Indradyumna Swami. Some of them were saying, we listen to your lectures. Really? Yeah, you're all over social media. So we want you to pick 21 chapters from your diaries, and we'll print it, and we'll sell it. So that's what they did. And they wanted to call it The Adventures of a Traveling Monk. Amazon jungle. I was in the Amazon jungle. I was in Russia. In fact, I just came back from Russia. They arrested me and threw me in prison for 1 week. They told me I was going to stay for 2 years. Somehow Krishna saved me, and here I am, but it was pretty... So that's the next chapter, next book. But I've had many adventures. The adventure of sharing Krishna consciousness, Mongolia, the Amazon jungle, New Zealand, where they filmed those films. And the only place I haven't been is North Korea. And I don't plan to go there. Somebody else has to. But this diary, and Radhanath Swami was very kind. He wrote a foreword. And Jay Seti, I don't know if Jay Seti, he also, Garanga, they all wrote something very nice. So this, you can't put it down. I guarantee you, if you start reading it tonight, you won't go to sleep. It's not about me, it's just about serving Srila Prabhupada and seeing the Sankirtan movement, the Hare Krishna explosion around the world, especially for young people, because it's all adventuresome, it's super cool. And with a little bit of knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. Am I right? All the kids love it. Okay? So that you get free with one of the books. And where's my bag? This is a pen. It cost $1,200. And I didn't buy it. I was on a plane from London to Delhi, and I was sitting next to a very rich man who was obviously very famous. Everyone was looking at him. He said to me, "Do I have to sit next to you?" He said, "a man with a dress on? And what happened to all your hair? And what's that big thing, mud on your head? And what are you mumbling in that little bag? Ram, 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 ram. Are you some crazy man?" I said, "Sir, who's crazy? Me or you?" We started a conversation. To make a long story short, I preached to him for 6 hours. I started to go to sleep. He said, "Please don't sleep. Tell me more. You said I'm not the body. How do I know?" I explained to him. I said, "You eat meat?" He said, "Yes, yes." I said, "You have some bad karma coming." And he said, "Well, he said, I don't really believe in God, but if I want to know, what do I do?" I said, "Repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna." Anyway, at the end he apologized. He said, "Sir, I am so sorry I spoke to you." I said, "I don't take it personally. I go through it all the time. I'm used to it. I'm like Teflon. Ladies, you know Teflon? It's that you put it on the pot, nothing sticks." I said, "It doesn't stick to me. You can call me a fool." Yeah, I am a fool. I'm not a pure devotee yet. So anyway, he said, I just feel so bad. He took his pen and he said, "This pen cost me $1,000, but I'm going to give it to you." I said, "Well, I don't, I'm not supposed to have expensive things." He said, "Please take it." He said, "You can use it, to sign your signature. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to India. I'm going to do a book tour. I'm going to come to Pune. And if somebody buys one of my books, I'm going to take this pen out and I'm going to go, see, it's blank like that, right? I'm going to go like this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Where do you see this? Hold on. That's my signature. They say you can know a man by his signature, so it's pretty wild. But if you buy a big book, I'll give you this free with the signature, and you'll have a lot of adventure to read about, and you can read about the most important place in our lives, which is Sri Vrindavan Dham. Prabhupada loved Vrindavan. He stayed there for so many years preparing his movement to the west, and he left this world in Braj. And we're meant to follow in his footsteps. So these books are available. We have a table there. I'm going to sit here, 8 o'clock. I have another program tomorrow morning. I have 3 programs every day, my whole life. I only sleep 3 hours a night because I'm preparing my classes and doing my... Anyway, there's the books. I'll sit here and you can form a line or something. And if you'd like, I'm not a businessman. I just want to share what's most dear to me. So I'll sign the books. And I want to thank you. When's the temple going to be ready? Next year? Build it as fast as you can and invite the Lord of your heart to stand there and fall in love with him. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada K. Shri Vrindavan Dham K. Shri Shri Radha Sundar K.
Jai.
Go Premanande!
Hare Krishna. So, as we are all excited to, receive these blessings, Prabhuji, please have a seat for a minute. There's an important announcement. So, as we are all excited to queue up and receive the mercy through these wonderful books and also receive those wonderful blessings with Maharaj's own signature, we have a very important announcement to make and also express our gratitude to His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. So tomorrow is a very important day. As Maharaj was mentioning, each one of us are, as a living entity, supposed to be attached with deities. So tomorrow, in this wonderful land, which we are proposing to have Bhakti and Vedic Cultural Center, their Lordship, Sri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra and Sudarshan going to preside here. Sri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maiya ki! So the schedule goes 9:30 a.m. Everybody is expected to be here. We will have Narsinga Kavach Stotra together. And followed by that, we will have Kirtans. And many of our children will have Shloka recitation. 11 o'clock, we are going to have special guest, His Grace Shwetadi Prabhu, going to elaborate on how the history of ISKCON NVCC came up, followed by His Grace Ramakrishna Prabhu, going to share his wonderful realizations, how our Lord Jagannath, DT, appeared in the land of Hinjawadi, followed by His Grace Madan Sundar Prabhu, briefly describing what are wonderful seva opportunities to be associated with this wonderful project. So Maharaj, tomorrow we are going to have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra going to be presiding here. And we were just wondering, in Skanda Puran, it was King Indradyumna, who was an instrument of Lord Krishna, who happened to be the instrument to have this wonderful, magnificent temple of, Puri, Lord Jagannath in the Purushottam Kshetra. We have His Holiness, our own His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, presiding here and blessing us, all of us, so that we can invite their Lordship, Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, into our hearts and in this holy land. So believe me, where Maharaj is sitting here, that is the proposed place of altar, maybe on an elevation on the first floor, where their Lordships, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya Sudarshan, are going to preside. And tomorrow you will get to know many more wonderful plans, how this entire 4-floor building temple project is going to get evolved in next several months. So we are very, very blessed, Maharaj, on this occasion where His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, help us to live and bring Vrindavan Dham here itself, while we are sitting here. And we have His blessings in the form of His Vani and also in the form of his books. Let us express our heartfelt gratitude to His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj with loud Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Param Pujya Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Anybody who has come for the first time, could you raise hands? कोई पहली बार आए हैं? तो जो भक्त पहली बार आए हैं आज, महाराज you are in our hearts and you are blessed here. So कृपया इस प्रोग्राम के बाद पीछे कौशल प्रभु खड़े हैं, वहाँ पे काउंटर है, वो हाथ खड़े किए हैं, तो कृपया जरूर उनसे मिलिएगा. Tomorrow you can register for the program, receive the invitation, and please make sure that you take out time for coming and witnessing tomorrow's historic event. That is the congregation of all the devotees to inaugurate this wonderful project of Bhakti and Vedic Cultural Center. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, His Divine Grace, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. So now all devotees are requested to queue up, and before the books finish, you can reserve your place and also receive blessings of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj in the form of his wonderful divine signature. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.